episode 30. Thank you all for listening to episode 29, 2 Liter, a biography of Dick Tournament. I also apologize for the sound quality we had. We had some technical difficulties. Tried to work on those. Hopefully it turns out okay. And, for all of you guys, I was okay with it. But, we ran into some sound quality. So
if you weren't so concentrated on the Dick Tournament, probably would have had better sound quality.
You're probably right. So I'm Gary here with
Bear.
And that's it. Jake's still in...
Nobody else again?
Yeah, Jake's still in Oregon, wherever. And
Origin.
And Brandon's off. Probably still drinking pumpkin spice, but, whatever.
Maybe
it is what it is.
He might be on the peppermint mocha by now.
Might be. So thanks to Wes Anderson for Moments in Time. Check him out, Wes Anderson Music on Facebook. Give him a follow on Twitter, @SongsByWes. Thanks to All Wear Clothing, Crandall's Quality Lawn Care. They serve the Toledo and surrounding area and not...
Indonesia.
Nice.
Thanks.
PNC, Verizon, and Dodge. Like we said, visit Ben Meyer there at Charlie's Dodge. He'll hook you up with a deal. Yeah, that was a quick one.
That's what she said.
I'm sure she did. So
usually how it goes for me.
Well, better luck next year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yep. So Justin on the Twitter, he's not going to be here today, so we'll get back to him next week, hopefully. So kind of Raw and SmackDown. They were, for post shows of Survivor Series, it wasn't that great, so I don't really even want to talk about it. Braun, basically, they got him off the show. He's got to go have elbow surgery, so they kind of wrote him off. But he's going to get his match against Baron Corbin at TLC in a TLC match. And then if Braun wins, he gets his title shot at Rumble against Brock. And Corbin is not going to be the GM. And if Corbin wins, he's the GM. And that's essentially it. Survivor Series, we can kind of just go right into that. Let's cover that first. So it was a Raw domination. They won. There was a pre-show that Team SmackDown won, and but didn't count. And in the main card, Raw won all 6 matches, outside of Buddy Murphy winning the Cruiserweight and keeping the Cruiserweight title. Our records, we were 6 and Brandon and I were 6-2. You were 4-4. So our records overall now, I am 30-15-1. You are 29-16-1. Brandon is 23-22-1, so he's over 500.
Good for him.
Yes, finally got there. So, it was interesting. The first thing, were you able to watch any of Survivor Series?
No, I was at the Lions game, got home late. I did turn it on as I was going to bed. It was a very long day, so actually the only match that I saw, not even in its entirety, but for the most part, was Charlotte and Ronda, which I would imagine was probably the best match on the card.
Yep.
Because I didn't watch anything else.
Brock and Daniel was actually pretty good.
I made it until Lesnar came out and Heyman started talking. That's the last thing I remember, so I must have passed out then. I did not see the Brock and Daniel one. I'm assuming Brock won.
Yes, Brock did win. He basically toyed with him for the first half of the match. Then Daniel came alive, and he almost got him a few times. So it made it interesting because it was a one-off match, or a dream one-off match. I found it pretty interesting, and Brock ended up winning, but he didn't squash him like he did in the beginning. Daniel Bryan came with the low blow again and kind of turned the match around. So heel Daniel Bryan did it again and turned it around a little bit. He had a chance. He had him, but Brock in the end, F5 wins. But, to kind of go over the other matches, like we said, Brandon and I took Team SmackDown on the pre-show match, and you took Raw, so that was a loss there for you. That's the only one that SmackDown won, but it didn't count since it was on the pre-show. That was Usos, New Day, Sanity, Colognes, Gallows, and Anderson. They beat Chad Gable, Bobby Roode, Revival, B-Team, Lucha House Party, and The Ascension. Next, we'll just talk about I'm going to save this, actually. Let's talk about Seth and Shinsuke. So Seth, good match. Seth ended up winning it.
Okay.
It was, one of those fun matches to watch. I thought Dean might show up. Didn't happen.
Didn't?
Nope.
All right.
But on Raw, he kind of just was all over the arena and then ended up coming out and just basically beating his ass again.
They're gonna have a match at TLC, right?
Yes, they are.
For the title?
Intercontinental
For the title?
Yes,
Okay.
they are. Next, we had... we can just go to the women. So we all picked SmackDown, but actually Mickey, Tamina, Nia, Natalya, and Ruby beat Carmella, Naomi, Sonya Deville, Asuka, and there was another there. Mandy Rose. And basically it was Nia. She beat up part of her own team just to kind of take over the match and get the win.
Huh.
Whatever, works for her.
Interesting.
Yeah, we all took SmackDown and lost. AOP in the bar. This was okay. I was the only one that took AOP here, but I was playing the back and forth and ended up working out somehow. I had Raw winning 4-3, but they won 6-1 essentially. So my 2 losses were those 2 that I mentioned. That was a decent match too. It was kind of boring, but of all the matches, it's probably the worst one.
That opened the show?
But it was kind of funny because Big Show grabbed Drake Maverick, who's the basically the manager for AOP, and he grabbed him by his neck and was choking him, and you could see his hand down by his pants. I'm like, what's he doing? Made himself piss his pants. So
Jesus.
Yeah, so they did that whole thing, which was whatever. Actually, besides Charlotte and Ronda, this next match was kind of probably the one that was really good. Buddy Murphy, Mr. Alexa Bliss, beat Mustafa Ali for to keep the cruiserweight title. It was a fun, normal cruiserweight battle, and they do stuff that other guys can't do, and it was fun to see. Buddy Murphy ended up winning, and that's kind of it with that one. Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, so we're kind of going back up here. That was actually fun. Shane did coast to coast twice.
Ooh.
Yes.
Damn.
So it was pretty interesting, except the second time he got clocked by Strowman.
Nice.
So
something different. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. And, what it took at the end was they were hanging in there. SmackDown was, and they kind of had an advantage there when they got Finn out first. And then they eventually got Dolph out. But then it came down to Braun was just beating the shit out of everybody. So he took out Jeff Hardy. He took out Rey Mysterio. And actually, they went down 5-4 quickly. Samoa Joe got knocked out first with a Claymore by Drew McIntyre. I was like, are you shitting me? That's the best guy on the team.
Yeah.
And they just put him out quickly. So Braun came in, took out Hardy, took out Ray, and then, obviously Miz got taken out too, and then he took out Shane. So it was just kind of how it is, and then Baron Corbin attacked him at the end. So,
interesting.
To keep that kind of thing going. But like we said, Brock and Daniel Bryan, it looked like a squash match to start, and I'm looking at my clock, I'm like 10-10. What the hell? How are they going to end this early? There's no way. And like I said, Brock kind of just destroyed him for the first part of the match, and then with the low blow, and he kind of comes back, and what Brock did, he F5'd him and then was pinning him for the 3 and then pulled him up because you just wanted to beat the shit out of him.
Yep.
And then that's kind of when Daniel kind of came back and made a run for it and came up short to the F5, but that was to be expected. We all had Brock. And then the last thing, we all took Ronda, but Ronda did not win the way we thought she might. It was a pretty solid match, and Ronda's coming around, especially on her mic skills. She kind of said some dumb shit on Monday, but it was okay, not believable. But it was kind of that switch up where she started getting booed at Survivor Series after the match.
Yes, that's like what I saw. I probably missed the first 5 minutes of that match, to be honest with you. But as I watched and as it ended, and as Charlotte beat the living shit out of her with a kendo stick, probably hit her 50 times maybe with that thing.
She destroyed her.
Holy crap. It was pretty awesome, and then kept coming back and just beating the crap out of her. I thought it was great, and then Ronda started to get booed. Surprising, right? I mean, she's been getting these crazy cheers and everything for so long. So, are they going? Obviously they want to turn Charlotte heel, and they're like giving her the Becky treatment. And before she was getting booed when she was facing Becky. So I'm very odd of what the crowd did there, and I have to imagine the WWE is also, right? Like I understand like some of it, but I don't get why they were booing Ronda for getting the shit beat out of her. Unless they were booing maybe they're booing the story.
Well, no, I think they were just booing her kind of like the switch, but it really wasn't. I mean, Charlotte is like her heel turn, quote unquote, but it'll be interesting to see if they go with that and Ronda, or if they go Becky and Ronda, because there's talk that now, well, there was always talk WrestleMania would be Charlotte and Ronda maybe headlining. Could be Becky and Ronda, or it could be all three. I think that'd be a fun one too.
That would be an awesome triple threat for the title. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, unify the titles. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of see what happens. We got time here, but she beat her ass with a kendo stick, just beat the shit out of her, put the chair around her neck, stomped on it, and Ronda, God bless her, took a beating like she She knows how to.
Yeah, I mean,
they said she's never been beat up like this in her life. I'm like, contraire. I've watched her get her ass kicked twice.
Holly Holm beat the shit out of her.
Yes.
Yeah, no, she definitely did. She took it pretty well, and I guarantee she was probably all welted up because those shots looked vicious, some of them. It was pretty intense, but I certainly enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good match for what I saw. The only match that I saw, so I'm happy that was the only one that I did see. I saw NXT War Games looked a lot better than Survivor Series.
And we're gonna get into that a little bit later. But yeah, it was really good. And I only saw just clips of it. So I haven't even watched the whole thing yet, but just from what I read, it was really good. So this kind of thing overall was okay. Raw dominated. I was kind of like surprised by it, but it is what it is. And,
right.
I mean, SmackDown is the quote unquote B show, even though they have the better talent. And AJ wasn't on the card because Daniel Bryan beat him. And AJ's in a contract, I don't want to say dispute, but renegotiation, where he kind of wants like a Randy Orton schedule. So don't expect him to hold the title for a long time, unless they do the whole Brock Lesnar thing, which they won't for AJ. But eventually he's going to have some time off for a while, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with it or how they go with it.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I should go back and watch this. Probably won't. There's nothing really too exciting, to be honest with you. So, well, no, like you said, it's just a blah Survivor Series, honestly. For some reason, the larger pay-per-views outside of WrestleMania haven't been great, and all the other, smaller ones, the TLCs and the Hell in the Cells, have honestly been better, in my opinion. It's not how it should be.
I agree, and it'll be interesting. TLC, I think, will be much better, but we're going to see what happens in time. And what those matches will be.
Yeah.
So our show that we were going to cover this week, and this episode might actually be shorter since we had a long one on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, and we want to get to that Buckeye Wolverine game. I got to start drinking. I'm going over to Shiv's. Going to have a good time. So,
nice.
Watch the game.
Nice.
And I asked him, I said, are you going to have a party? And he said, no, I don't want to be watching the game with a bunch of Michigan fans when I'm not confident we're going to win. And I said, okay,
smart.
I can
smart
agree
man.
with it.
Very smart man.
Yes, I totally agree. So let's get right into this. So John Cena, Big Show, match for the United States Heavyweight Championship.
Amazing match to start. Old school Cena with the rap. Has an awesome rap on Big Show to come out. I thought it was a really good match, actually, and it's funny as I go through this and see all these younger guys, or the vets who have hair still, like Big Show had hair. It was so odd to see.
And then he had the pork chops, chops.
Yep, he had. It was great. Great heel. Put on a good match. It was one of those Cena, really couldn't do anything. Every time he mustered a little bit of offense, Big Show would knock him down. Big Show pretty much dominated the whole match. Cena hits him with an F5. Big Show kicks out. Cena with a great reaction on his face. To end is like, well, if he didn't do that, what am I supposed to do? So goes to grab his chain, pick him up. Ref sees him, throws the chain away towards the other side, picks up his knucks, hits him with it, gives him another F5, wins the match. That was his first title in WWE right there. So
he was young there, watching him in that
was,
match,
and
he picked him up twice.
Yeah, and it was insane. The pop that he got, everyone loved him, and he skyrocketed right to the top. And then 2 years later, everybody hates him. Isn't that funny how that works? They all pushed him, loved him there, and then 2 years later, he's getting booed out of the building.
Same thing
Crazy.
with Roman. Now this could happen with Ronda. We'll see.
Yep.
Becky, nobody bought into it until she was a heel. We'll see what happens. So next, we had that fatal 4-way match for the World Tag Championship. Booker T, Rob Van Dam against the Dudley Boys, Garrison Cade and Mark Jindrak, and La Resistance, Rene Dupree and Rob Conway.
So terrible.
Yes.
Decent match, nothing too exciting. Van Dam and Booker ended up keeping their titles. It was an okay match. It's like I said, it was a decent filler just to get people. I think it was a good way to get more people on the card. I think they did a really good job of getting a lot of the roster on this card. And that was certainly a very good way to do it. But yeah, Booker and RVD really, the only other team that could have won were the Dudleys, honestly. Cade and Jindrak and La Resistance weren't going to win the belts. So it was good to have Booker and RVD keep them.
Yeah, I agree. And it was fun, and that frog splash was huge.
Yes.
Off the top. Oh, my gosh. The next one was kind of fun. Christian and Chris Jericho. Kind of took a little turn there with Trish coming out and elbows Jericho, and he gets rolled up by Christian. And then you're like, what the hell? And then she just slaps the shit out of him. Well, actually punched him, Jericho.
Twice.
Kind of joined up, and Christian, put Jericho down.
Lucky Christian.
Oh, God.
Make
Trish
out with her right
so
there.
So good.
Well, and she still looks good now, but my goodness, that was peak Trish right there.
Yes.
She was smoking hot there.
Those puppies, man.
Unbelievable. I mean, she still is for being a mom with 2 kids, but goodness, she was just absolutely gorgeous there.
Yes, she was.
But yeah, good match overall, good story, I think. My favorite was in that storyline, which they said it a couple of times, but not a lot. That was when Stone Cold was commissioner of Raw, and he would call Christian the CLB, the creepy little bastard, all the time. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Christian's reactions to that were always great. Just absolutely phenomenal. So I was just a little off topic on that.
Right. And so next we had Evolution, Batista, Orton, and Flair against the Rock and Sock Connection. Fun little match. It's funny to see The Rock losing his hair, but he still had the hair.
Also had hair?
Yeah, had the goatee there. And
Batista had hair?
Batista had hair. Orton has always had hair.
Same thing with Flair.
Yep. And, obviously Flair's is thinned out a lot. But it was thinning then.
Yeah.
And but it was fun to watch that match, and the RKO out of nowhere ended the match, and the Evolution won, and that was pretty much it. It was fun to watch.
I think that was the first and only time Rock and Flair were ever together in the same ring. I want to say. I don't think they fought before that. I could be wrong, but that's only what I could recall of seeing that. I thought it was great though. 2 of the most charismatic wrestlers right there of all time being in the same ring together. I thought that was entertaining.
Yeah, I think that would be one that we didn't talk about as a dream match. Rock and Flair, that'd be fun. Gosh, the promos for that would be so good. Oh,
and The Rock had an amazing promo before.
Yeah.
With Foley and everything, and just taking the mic from Lillian. I thought that was great. He put on a wonderful promo as usual. So that was certainly fun. Good lead up to that.
I agree. And so the next one, which they don't do these anymore, Playboy Evening Gown match. Miss Jackie and Stacy Keibler against Tori Wilson and Sable. Ended with Tori Wilson pinning Miss Jackie, and so her and Sable winning. But the best part of that was when they're just like, she's spread eagle. Just had her spread eagle while she was sitting on her, pinning her, and just showing the crowd. And all these cameras just pop up like, oh shit, gotta take a picture of this. I'm like, you creepy sons of bitches.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Don't act like you wouldn't have been taking a picture too. I don't want to hear it, because I'm not gonna lie, I would have if I was there. I'm not gonna lie about it.
I would have too, but it's
creepy, yes.
God,
but would I've
creepy.
taken a picture? Yes, probably.
Yeah, and how it's gone to PG, it's a lot different now.
Two of my favorite things of that match were one, Jack Doan getting rolled up. It was absolutely hilarious.
He rolled over him.
Taz, lucky. So my thing is, I want to know exactly how did Jack Doan get that match in that spot. Lucky guy right there. And my question to you, who is the hottest in that match? You got to pick one, no ties.
Just because I think I know where you're going, give me Stacy Keibler.
Tori.
I knew you were going Tori, so I got to take Stacy.
Yeah.
Tori
is always my favorite.
Tori was good, so I knew you had her. So give me Stacy. I don't want to fuck with Brock, so he can keep Sable.
And also think about it this way: of all the guys, Brock obviously was Sable, very lucky.
George Clooney was Stacy.
Billy Kidman with Tori somehow, and Charlie Haas with Miss Jackie. They're still together. So two
are
of the
they
four,
really?
I am pretty sure I'm pretty sure her and Charlie Haas are still married.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that, but it just goes to show you. Just in this is what 14 years, 14 and a half years, and you can see how things have changed for the women, and it's pretty interesting. So next we had the Cruiserweight Open for the Cruiserweight Championship. You had Nunzio, Jamie Noble, Tajiri, Shannon Moore, Ultimo Dragon, Funaki, Billy Kidman, Akio, and Chavo Guerrero, the champ. Chavo Sr. actually helped out Rey Mysterio in this, helped out Chavo, his son, and then of course screwed over Rey, and Chavo kept the belt. What'd you think about that?
I thought it was great. The match in general, like I said, you get a lot of people on the show. Okay. So that was great. A lot of good cruiserweights. First, Funaki losing in 3 seconds or 4 seconds, I'm pretty sure is still a record to this day. Absolutely phenomenal. But the match in general I thought was pretty good. A lot of decent cruiserweights in there. Tajiri, Akio, all of them. Pretty solid. But yeah, you knew it was going to come down to Mysterio and Guerrero. They had a huge feud going on at the time. So we knew it was going to happen. And Chavo's dad was in a lot of those, which is why Mysterio couldn't win the belt. And he did it again. I think that was like a second or third time that happened in the last few weeks. So the ending was great. What do you think about Mysterio coming out to a different costume every WrestleMania too?
I'm okay with it because you always wonder what he would do. My favorite was the Joker when he came out as a Joker.
I like this Flash one. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the Flash one was good too. It's always fun that he came out with something different.
Yeah.
Next, had Lesnar against Goldberg with loser leaving. Stone Cold was the special guest ref. What'd you think?
I mean, how great was the crowd? Let's put it that way, because the match was shit. Let's be honest. That was literally probably the worst match in WrestleMania history. I don't think many people are going to deny that. But the crowd, man, you sold out all of this to Brock, and then they even I think was that Michael Cole and Taz who did the match? Yep. I can't recall, but they were saying that Brock probably going to the NFL. There's rumors, all of that. So I think everyone knew then. Obviously, normally they don't say stuff like that on a broadcast, so I thought that was kind of odd when he said it. But, I mean, the match was just terrible. Stone Cold was getting chants, and I think he was probably kind of pissed. I don't think that it was supposed to be that way. I'm very, very interested next year, because it will be the 15-year anniversary in March of this. I hope that Conrad and Bruce cover it, because I'd love to hear the background on this, about this match, about was it supposed to go that way? Was Goldberg pissed at Brock? Was Brock pissed at Goldberg? Were they both pissed at Stone Cold? Whatever the case may be. Goldberg ends up winning a long, boring match. Flips off the crowd. Flips off Stone Cold. Gets the stunner.
Well, that was Brock that did that.
That's what I said.
You said Goldberg won the match.
Sorry. Yeah, Goldberg won the match. Brock flipped off the crowd as they were still chanting. Flipped off Austin. Got a stunner. Austin, of course, goes to drink beers. Goldberg comes in, cheers them, and then, of course, Goldberg gets the stunner as well. And I don't think Goldberg was there after that either, was he?
Not much.
Yeah, they both left after that. I'm very interested to hear the backstory of that, because that match was very, very bad. Even when they did finally lock up and get it going, it was off. Goldberg looked stiff. Brock just didn't look good, like he cared or anything. It was very interesting. So I'd love to hear. I can't wait to hear the background on that. But terrible match for something that could have been fantastic. And then I guess we saw it, last year?
Yep.
And Goldberg squashed him again.
Well, Lesnar won at Mania, but he won the title back from Brock. Goldberg threw him out of the Rumble, then he beat him. Yeah. And Goldberg did, and then Brock beat him at WrestleMania.
Right, but I'm talking about the squash it, wherever the hell it was.
He squashed
Was
it.
it Raw?
Yeah, it was Raw or a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Next, you had APA, the Basham Brothers, dumb, and the world's greatest tag team, Haas and Benjamin, against Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty. Okay.
Yeah, like you said, it was like the Raw one, just to get people on. Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty won the match. Kind of a boring finish, just Rikishi sit down, senton, not even a senton really, just a sit down right on. Who did he?
One of the Basham brothers.
Was it? That's what I thought. I can't remember. Oh, like I said, okay match. Nothing too crazy, just a time filler and get people on the show.
Next, we had hair versus title, Molly Holly and Victoria. Victoria comes out on top and then straps her into the chair, gets back. Molly tried to run away a few times.
Yep.
Strapped her into the chair, cut her hair. That was essentially that match. It was okay. Next you had, which was a great one, Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero for the WWE Championship. This is a fun match to watch.
Amazing match. Great story told in this match against the lying, cheating, and stealing Eddie, who Kurt was pushing as the heel, obviously, and he stole the belt, and he's not the champion, blah blah, and beat the shit out of Eddie with his handcuffs on SmackDown, all that. A great build up to the match. I thought it was an absolutely phenomenal match, to be honest with you. It was wonderful, very wonderfully done. Both of them great athletes in the prime. And, of course, Eddie getting the ankle lock 4 times in a row and then finally undoing his boot. Kurt giving him the ankle lock again and the boot coming off, and Eddie hitting him with a small package. While, if you saw, which he barely got, put his feet in the ropes to cheat to
Yeah, I
win,
saw
quote
that.
unquote.
I did see
But,
that.
I mean, that's a great ending because that's called, and it's okay. Throw me into a small package into the ropes and put your feet around the ropes to make it look like you cheated again to win, and everyone's going to love it. And they did. It was a perfect finish to the match. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. So kudos to both of them on that match.
And then we had the second go-around, Taker and Kane, with Paul Bearer with Undertaker. I think we know who won this match because he didn't lose until WrestleMania 30.
Yep.
10 years later, Taker won at Tombstone. Wasn't this the return of Undertaker instead of the rolling
Yeah, so this was
Badass?
at Survivor Series 03. I think it was Undertaker, Vince McMahon, and Kane came out of the payload or end load or whatever it was with a big boom, knocked Undertaker into the thing, buried him alive, and that turned into your Vince McMahon. I mean, obviously Vince McMahon's still heel, but turned back from Undertaker, from the badass, whatever the hell he was, back to normal Undertaker. And Kane had good promos leading up to that. You were my brother, we were monsters, then you turned to one of the people, this and that. And just had wonderful, I think in the Royal Rumble he was dominating, and then the bell rang and he freaked out and then got thrown out. Like I said, just amazing build up to the match. If you go back and watch some of those Raws, you see the bells randomly and just Kane freaking out, and I think he plays a great role there. And then obviously Undertaker comes back, and as we said, he wins, obviously, since he didn't lose till WrestleMania 30. But absolutely phenomenal. And actually, the rumor is this was the first match he wanted to lose.
Yep.
Coming back.
And Kane said no.
Yep, and he said no. So, like you said, I thought it was a fun match. I thought it was amazing. They had the Druids come out and everything, and it was really good. And then the best part, I think, is when they were still standing face to face, and Kane didn't, he was walking towards him. Undertaker standing still, and finally he attacked him and realized, shit, he's real. And I thought it was, like I said, it was a great storyline, great story being told in that match.
Yep. And then the main, probably one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history, triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Your champion Triple H against Shawn Michaels against Chris Benoit. What a great match. I mean, both the guys, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, cut open, blood everywhere in that whole match. They were covered in blood.
Insane.
Yeah, and towards the end, flips Michaels over the ropes, and then it just comes down to him getting Chris Benoit getting Triple H into the crippler crossface, close to the ropes, and then kind of rolls him over right into the center of the ring where he eventually has to tap out. And of course, Eddie came out and celebrated with Chris.
Yep.
At the end, which was fun to see because that was a big deal when you think back about, those guys were cruiserweights in WCW, and they were both champions on top of the WWE. That was a big deal and a big moment.
It was huge. I mean, those were, like you said, those were two top guys who had literally been together the entire time. And I love the foreshadowing promo earlier in the night when Eddie had the belt and telling him that, something about, I don't think you can beat both of them, and Chris Benoit, and I believe in me, and got them all fired up. And Eddie's like, now that's what I'm talking about. And then obviously they, Eddie retained, Benoit won. I thought it was a great way to end the night. Definitely one of my favorite matches of all time. And you're probably right. Definitely one of the top WrestleMania matches of all time. It was amazing. I mean, you got to think you have two of the biggest stars of all time with probably one of the best workers of all time in Benoit. And Michaels obviously is one of the best workers, and so is Triple H. Benoit is just so underrated because he just didn't have the mic skills that Triple H and Shawn Michaels did to be that top guy all the time, but Benoit could have. I really do. As they say, if Benoit was 5 inches taller or whatever, he's over 6 foot. He's probably holding the belt for a long time and programs with all these guys all the time.
And this just makes me think about the idiots that always said that Triple H doesn't put people over. Here's a prime example. He took the tap out. He did everything, and he took the loss and lost his title clean to Chris Benoit. And unfortunately, we know. Within a little over a year, we lose. Was the year? Yeah, a little over a year. We lost
Eddie.
Guerrero,
Yep.
And then within 3 years, we lose Benoit to a murder-suicide, which is just tragic.
Yep.
The head injuries and everything else, and what mental health does to people, and that's what you got to watch out with these injuries in wrestling, and it's kind of tough to see. But overall, I like this a lot. I hadn't seen it in a long time, so it was a fun one to go back and watch. And so I'll just tell you, next week, I put it on here. I don't know if you saw it. I put it on there, removed it because I wanted you to hear it on the show. I want us to go back and watch, because I haven't watched it yet, but NXT TakeOver, this over the weekend, War Games 2 for 2018. I want to watch it. I heard it was great. Let's watch it and cover that next week. That'll be a fun one.
I'm down with that.
All right. And so let's get into the Jason debate. So he had some follow-up. So Proper 12 is the Irish whiskey owned by Conor McGregor. You know, mention that?
The funny thing is, I think it was the day or 2 days after I saw that on Twitter. Somebody posted it and said, "Oh, I got the Proper 12 whiskey," and McGregor liked it and retweeted it or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, that's what Jason was talking about." So, if he just would have given us the go around the first time around, we probably would have been able to figure that out. But whatever, Jason. I'm not going to push on you too much there.
Right. And he said, have we watched any of the episodes of previously mentioned series? My son or daughter is a WWE superstar.
No, I'm busy. Yeah, you should know that more than anyone, Jason. So, no, I have not. But I think I probably will get into this here in a little bit. I may have a little bit of time here tomorrow with the Cowboys playing a couple days ago, with Ohio State and Michigan this afternoon here shortly, excuse me. Maybe something's on Sunday if I can get it in Sunday night. If not, I'll have to kind of wait until the latter Christmas time when I have the last 11 days of the year off, which is going to be great. So maybe I'll be able to watch some of it at that time.
And I have not either. I finished that Kingdom Come, but it's been too much time with work. I worked all week except for Thursday, and I got the Buckeye game today. I'll be at Shiv's, and it's just a bunch of games today, and then Sunday, I got to take care of some stuff, some yard work, as long as the weather holds up. And, I'll try to watch it, but, with the kid and everything, it's hard. And then at night, I try to go to the gym when he goes to bed, and then hopefully get some. I mean, they have a lot of shows in there I want to catch up on and want to watch. Mm-hmm. But now, we've got to watch NXT TakeOver. So I've got pretty much a week to watch that, and I got to squeeze that in. So, and I got a busy week coming up beginning Monday. I'll be in our main office. Then Wednesday I'm in Findlay. Thursday I'm in our main office, our Dayton office, and our Piqua office. And then Friday I'm in our Circleville office, and then our Athens office. So I'm just busy all week.
Yeah, it's going to be, especially, the worst is always after the holiday week, because everyone's off, everyone's got vacation, so everyone's trying to catch up immediately, and it's the worst. So I already know Monday is going to be just blah. Can already tell. Yeah,
it is going to be. So some of the stuff he went into. Do you like the appearance of NXT's setup, meaning black ring mats and dark lighting? And according to him, it looks low budget and low energy, similar to Ring of Honor setup. I actually like it because I think it draws you more towards the people and not the stuff on the outside, not the ring, not the crowd. It makes you focus on the talent.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they're doing a lot better, not just because of the talent, but the things around it. It does look bland, I agree. It kind of looks cheap, and they could bring up the budget a little bit on it, but I'm actually okay with it.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't think it's a bad look at all. I actually kind of like the darker set and the darker look, to be honest with you. And yeah, it does kind of show that it's, I don't want to say low energy, but it shows that it's like the lower show. You got the bright lights of Raw, you have the bright lights of SmackDown, obviously the pay-per-views. But NXT, once those pay-per-views come on, their lights are brighter than anybody else because they're outperforming most of the superstars on the roster in their matches, to be honest with you. So in my preference, I actually like it. I do enjoy the darker ring mats, everything else around. I think it makes it look kind of cool. In my opinion, I really do. I don't think it looks... I've seen Ring of Honor, and that just doesn't look great, to be honest with you. And I don't think comparing Ring of Honor to NXT is fair. NXT is still a WWE production, and I really do think that their setup looks pretty darn good.
Agreed. All right. Do you prefer new Carmella or a previous one?
What is new Carmella? Because I think I saw her a couple weeks ago.
She dances around, takes dance break with, R-Truth.
All Carmella.
Yeah, I was about to say all Carmella. Yeah. I like the new one. She's fun. She's looking sexy. I mean, she's wearing skirts, dresses, everything, and you always said she looked good.
Yeah.
And she does. And
we'll have to start watching a little bit more Raw on SmackDown.
Better match in general, tables and chairs or ladders?
Oh, ladders.
Agreed.
I mean, there's been so many good ladder matches, and just tables and chairs. I mean, there's been good tables matches. Chairs, there's always chairs, it seems like. But I certainly enjoy a ladder match. Money in the Bank was always one of my favorites before it became an actual pay-per-view, when it was just the WrestleMania spectacle. And then obviously a couple of the best matches of all time, Michaels and Ramon, obviously on the ladder, Triple H and The Rock, ladder match in Madison Square Garden. There have been amazing ladder matches over time, so I definitely take the ladder match.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you just hit on it, especially with Razor and Shawn kind of bringing that to the forefront, making it what it is. Give me ladders all day. ICP, Insane Clown Posse, what is a Juggalo? Better rapping or wrestling?
I can't even believe he asked this question. He must be really bored. One, I'm pretty sure Jason rocks out to ICP, so I'm gonna diss him on that one. They're
Great. Malenko.
Better at neither. Wrestling was blah. You saw one of the dudes from ICP couldn't even dropkick Fred Durst off of a stage, so not talented. The rapping, never was an ICP fan, not into it. I'm not a big Fanta guy, so I think that's probably why.
Fago, you mean?
Oh, shit. That was close.
Fanta,
Fago, whatever they're throwing around, orange and grape soda.
I heard they go through like 900 bottles of
they
Faygo.
just spike those things, just gone. It's insane. I've seen it. Andy and Austin are huge ICP fans.
So are they Juggalos?
Oh, closet Juggalos for sure. I shouldn't say closet Juggalos. Closet to the rest of the world. Big time Juggalos out there. It's creepy. They always ask me to go to their shows. I'm like, no. I'm like, one, I don't want to get all gross and wet and sticky with frickin' Faygo getting thrown everywhere. And two, I have no interest in their music. I don't think it's that great.
But we do need to get you to Steel Panther, besides Rock on the Range. Or
I've seen Steel Panther. See, I have this thing where if I see a band, like I have no need or want to see them again. Like I want to see new things. Like if there's something I've seen Shinedown a couple times, but like there's certain things that if I see it once, I'm good. I've seen it live. I'm good enough with that. So maybe if they came around here with somebody else that was half decent, I probably would go see them. But yeah, I'm not going to go travel an X amount of distance away. I'd go to Detroit, maybe Cleveland. I wouldn't go to Cincinnati. How about that? That's like the limit I would go. And I wouldn't go to Cincinnati too because Jason's around that way. So nah.
Sorry to hear that.
For him or for me?
You.
Nah. Skyline Chili is overrated.
Yeah, and ICP. No, neither.
No, not a Juggalo.
No. All right.
I can see you dressing up with the black and white face paint.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, like Sting face paint. You know, maybe.
Just more Juggalo-y.
There we go. All right, has Brandon gone into sulking because the stores removed pumpkin spice and replaced with gingerbread coffee creamer?
I didn't even see this question. He sent it. Oh, he is now renewed. Back in my good graces. This is a great question. And the best part is Brandon isn't here to answer it. So we should make up answers for him. And I'm going to say yes, he has gone into sulking. Because my guess is that he probably stocked up on pumpkin spice. Probably drank it all already. Now it's gone. So now he's got to go to either gingerbread coffee or peppermint mocha.
And we do not know when he's going to return. So I think he's into sulking too. But, whatever. It's Brandon. He'll be back eventually.
Do you think Burger King has a gingerbread breakfast sandwich?
Probably.
We should ask him next time.
I know they have pancakes, 3 pancakes for 89 cents.
Yeah, he's probably all over those.
Yeah.
That and...
Do you think he has pumpkin spice syrup?
I bet he probably does.
Probably makes his own.
Do you? When he's sitting there wearing his Uggs, drinking his pumpkin spice coffee,
the Ugg condom?
wearing that too. It gets cold. Eating pumpkin spice breakfast sandwich and pancakes from the little silver dollar pancakes from BK with his pumpkin spice syrup. Do you think he's like? I would imagine I could just see him sitting in his chair like an old man, just with his glasses down to on the brow of his or on the bridge of his nose there, reading the newspaper, just eating and drinking all that.
You know what I forgot to ask him? I didn't ask him after Thanksgiving if he was 3.5 plates over or under the dinner plates. We got to find that out.
We got to get that for next week.
Yes, we do. That's going to be important.
We're going to have to also see if he's over 3 bills.
I'm sure he is.
Whoa!
Thanksgiving, man. It's the holidays.
Yeah, that's true.
But he said he's trying to get to 270 by the end of the year, man. That's going to be tough.
Well,
he doesn't have much time.
Now is not the time to do that. This is the time where you're supposed to eat a whole bunch.
Because it's the 24th? No, he doesn't have much time.
Oof.
Yeah. It's going to be tough for him. So, current WWE roster, either show, dream match candidates.
I think everyone's fought each other. Oh, God. I don't...
I think Becky and Ronda's the obvious here.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I have really interest in anything else. Is that, what's his face still on there? That Islesworth, or what's his name?
Ellsworth?
Ellsworth? No, I was going to say him versus Carmella. That would have been a dream match.
They've already pretty much fought.
Maybe McIntyre and Strowman.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
Maybe McIntyre and Lesnar.
Yeah.
AJ and Lesnar.
They fought.
Have they?
Yep. Lesnar won. That's probably why it didn't happen. It was last year's Survivor Series. It's probably why it didn't happen this year.
Shinsuke and Daniel Bryan, have they fought?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I think they were both faces, and now they're both heels, so they probably haven't.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. I'd have to think about that one. Give me time, and especially when the call-ups happen, Velveteen Dream's probably going to get called up after WrestleMania.
Ovaltine Dream, yep.
Yeah, Ovaltine Dream. He should get called up. He's got everything, and he's young. To see where he is now at 23, 22, he's a stud for years to come. So we'll see what happens. All right, does anyone miss the rapping John Cena gimmick? I think we all do. Jason
yeah,
does.
absolutely. I agree.
That was his best.
I completely agree with Jason. It was amazing. Just like we were talking about WrestleMania 20 a little bit earlier in the show. I mean, that gimmick, and he comes up with them on the fly, which is the best. I've heard that there was some that he did where, he had to run it by Vince, like when he first started.
Yep.
But I heard once Vince gained, once he was okay with it and he gained trust in him, he just started letting him do it on the fly. And if you go listen to that one at WrestleMania 20, it was great. It was hilarious.
I like the one with The Rock when he basically ended it, and I'll put my nuts on your face. Slaps it in the camera. So thanks, Jason, as always. Look forward to what you have to bring to us, and we'll look more into Brandon. Keep him coming. And so Jeremy.
Yeah. Sorry. And
go ahead,
Jason. Give us another show suggestion.
Yeah, I think you're up and due for a show for us to cover.
Yeah.
Nothing with Juggalos.
He'll go give me Raw of '98 when the Juggalos were on and they were with the oddities.
So we've covered WCW, we've covered ECW, we've covered WWE. Now we're going to do NXT.
Yep.
Keep it in that realm. Preferably
something that's on the network so we can watch it. He'll be like, give me a TNA Bound for Glory 2011.
Yeah, no. So next, Jeremy, perfect discussion. Survivor Series. He wanted us to talk about it basically being a Thanksgiving staple.
Yeah.
Do we miss the traditional 4-on-4 and 5-on-5 matches from the old days?
Yes.
He knows they still do some every year, but the old Survivor Series cards consisted mostly of elimination matches.
Yeah, totally. I don't know if I would assume he probably misses them, which is why he asked the question. So
No, that's what he says. They have some every year. That's what he misses, and he likes what kind of Raw and SmackDown does now. But that kind of brings something else to it. But he misses the old matches of basically everything being elimination.
I do too. I love watching those old matches. The late '80s, early '90s. I thought they were fantastic, especially when you have all those names out there. Like we've said before, it's such a great way to get all these guys on the card. But Survivor Series is always one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time. They've always had really, really good matches, I think, in stories with the guys who are going up against each other. Mega Bucks versus Mega Powers back in the day, and they've always named them, I think, fairly well. So I've always been a fan of the 4-on-4, 5-on-5 matches. And like I said, some of my favorite pay-per-views are the old Survivor Series from the 80s at the old Richfield Coliseum in Cleveland. Just great shows.
Yep, and they because that was in Summit County, they did all of those things, and that's where it started and originated. It was a new concept for them. Kind of competed with Starrcade. By the way, I don't know if you saw, but Starrcade is going to be on Sunday night
next week, right?
So, no, tomorrow.
It's
going to be on tomorrow.
It's tomorrow?
Yeah, one or not one. That's football's on tomorrow night. It's like 1 hour. It's only an hour.
Oh, what are they doing?
I have no idea.
I thought it was next week.
No,
shoot.
I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. But I haven't seen what they're going to do with it. But should be interesting, I think. But we'll see.
Okay.
It's not like it used to be. I wish they'd bring back Bash at the Beach. Those are fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. They got their war games and they're doing the Starcade. They're starting to knock off more and more WCW, which I get. The only thing that I'm just not a fan of bringing. These are okay to bring back, the war games and whatnot, but not quite a fan. But I have a feeling they're going to keep pushing towards that and doing a little bit extra on that. Don't be surprised if you see a what's the one with the rings? World War III.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Royal Rumble, but they put 3 rings in. Maybe they do something like that.
Maybe.
Never know.
Maybe.
I mean, the Royal Rumble's a staple, but the way, with the Starcade and with the War Games that Vince is doing, maybe NXT does that. Who knows?
It'll be interesting to say the least. So, Jeremy, thank you, as always, for what you bring to us, and we're happy to discuss. So, kind of to wrap this whole thing up, we got, since it is Rivalry Week.
Rivalry Week.
And we
big one coming up here in a couple hours now.
Yes. So the top 3 of all time. What do you got?
Let's see. Number 3 rivalry. Give me Hogan and Andre. How about that? Fantastic rivalry. They've had some really good matches. Andre, a phenomenal heel. Obviously, Hogan, one of the best faces of all time. That was like the rivalry that everyone talked about in the late 80s. Who was ever a fan then? Probably people became fans because of that. Absolutely phenomenal. Hogan, Andre, number 3 for me.
I kind of wrapped everything together with this, and Hogan and Piper in there, and Hogan and Sting. So I did WCW versus WWE, and also NWO versus WCW. Just kind of wrapped them all into one.
Okay.
Number 3.
All right. Number 2 rivalry of all time. That would have to be Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I absolutely love their rivalry very much. I know that they were obviously great friends in DX, but man, when they put on matches, they put on some amazing matches. And people don't think of it as a rivalry because they are best of friends. But in storyline, dude, when they had matches and they hated each other in storyline, my God, some of the best matches we've seen, some of the greatest stories we've seen, I think phenomenal. Totally underrated rivalry that many people don't think about.
Yeah, you're right, and I didn't think about it either because I have Shawn Michaels in my number 2, but against Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm.
Obvious reasons, the Montreal Screwjob, the leading up to that point, they despised each other, legitimately, and just their rivalry was great.
Rivalry week.
Rivalry. Their rivalry was great, and you just can't say anything more about it. It was just great. It was amazing. And the screw job, it was unfortunate to see it end that way, but they came back together and sat down for interviews and had that awkward hug on Raw. And it is what it is. But Shawn is completely different now. We know that. And so that's my number 2. And I'm pretty sure we probably have the same number 1.
No, I pulled a U from Tuesday. I went 1A and 1B. I didn't go C and D and E and F.
Let me guess yours.
Well, it's easy. But which one's 1A and which one's 1B?
Well, they're both probably with Stone Cold.
Nope.
Okay, I'm wrong. Go ahead.
So my 1B is your 2, which is Shawn and Brett. My 1A is Stone Cold and Vince.
Yep, same.
And obviously, late honorable mention, Stone Cold and The Rock.
That's what I thought you were going with.
But Stone Cold and Vince was a much better rivalry. Absolutely amazing. Obviously, it's still to this day just fantastic stuff that they did. Obviously, Shawn and Brett you touched on, so I'm not going to touch on too much. But, Stone Cold and Vince, I absolutely loved it. And I hated to leave Stone Cold and The Rock off because they put on some great matches. But as a rivalry, it was really just WrestleMania. They didn't do many storylines together. There wasn't a lot. Besides 19, that was really the only big storyline they did. Other than that, it felt like it was just kind of pushed into it, so I didn't want to do that. But, Stone Cold and Vince McMahon, come on. Some of the best moments of all time. Not the greatest matches, but just amazing, amazing stuff that probably for the most part had the WWE beat WCW.
Yep.
Realistically, and all realistic, Vince and Stone Cold pretty much pushed that over the edge.
They did, and I think you just hit the nail on the head there. That everything about that, you had your boss that's the bad guy, who is the bad guy, and the guy that's going against the establishment that was Stone Cold, and he did what he did against Vince, and they didn't, like you said, not the greatest matches, but Vince held his own for being 50 years old at the time, 56, almost
Yeah.
60 years old. And it was fun to watch, and just they were great. You know, the bedpan incident, the beer truck, swimming in the beer truck, like
was
swimming in
amazing.
beer, like we always said. Very good. We like that, and you know that kind of tops off our week here. So we've had fun. It was a fun week, and like I said, we've got NXT TakeOver War Games 2 from this year coming next week is what we're going to cover, and we look forward to everything. So episode 30 has been fun, and I hope you guys listen to it, enjoy it. Check us out on Spotify, PodBean, iTunes, everything. We're there. Thank you to Crandall's Quality Lawn Care, All Wear Clothing, Verizon, PNC, Dodge, for everything you do. And as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
Michigan sucks.